Win and you're in. Lose and your season is over. We had 2 10 seeds vying for a spot in the playoffs. One made it, one did not. Let's start in the Western Conference. The Dallas Mavericks and the Memphis Grizzlies. 2 All-Stars putting on a show. Anthony Davis and Ja Morant.
Getting to the cup.
And when I say putting on a show, that was good. This even better. Off the rim, calisthenics.
Ooh, he's on trampoline.
But watch Salty Aldama catch it on the head, the volleyball spike. But look at his face. Like, nah, man. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? Ja also had the 3-point flow. Wow. 12 points
I want to hear it.
in the first quarter, 22 in the game. Here comes Bane. He also had 22 and 9 assists.
Silent killer there.
23-point lead, but hold on. AD's on the way. Anthony Davis hits the tray. But back to the Grizzlies in the highlight plays. Ja with the steal and the dime right on time.
Nice.
Salty Aldama with the 360 at the end. Vincent, he needed to do this.
Yeah, he did.
Just styled on him.
Sometimes it's necessary.
Largest lead was 25 points. But the Mavs, they went on an 8-0 run to end the second quarter, then a 19-7 run. And look at that scoreboard. They pulled to within 7 points. The Grizzlies, though, poised to fend off that comeback. Jaren Jackson Jr. from outside.
Catch and fade.
Zach Edey, the rookie, inside, playing big. But watch this. So Anthony Davis comes down awkward on the rebound attempt. Vince left the game, did try to return, but was done for the night. 40 points for AD.
I mean, you have to appreciate AD. I mean, he did come back and try to give it a go. You have to appreciate him going through what he's gone through this year. Being traded, comes in, plays plays for a half, get hurt, but makes the attempt to come back to give this Dallas Mavericks a shot at getting in the playoffs.
Zach Edey, the rookie, 15 points, 11 rebounds.
Backboard work.
Jaren Jackson Jr., 24 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists.
He's supposed to windmill that.
He ain't got the type of stuff.
All right, Grizzlies, the 8th seed in the Western Conference.
I was there. I witnessed that one live. I jumped up.
Maybe it was Ja Morant, baby. Let's hear from Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.
I feel like this one was more difficult than others. Obviously, regular season games is not win or go home. So this one was way more difficult, the whole process, like learning, what I would have had to do to be able to get out there. I was kind of questioning it, but, with our staff, the doctors, they gave me all the info I needed in simplest terms so I would understand. And from that point, it was pretty much easy. I wanted to be on the floor. I wanted to play this game and get the win. So,
yeah, it was crazy. He was doing what he does, and that putback dunk was a huge energy boost at the right time. Dunked all over Santi's head. It was lit.
So the Memphis Grizzlies this season against the Oklahoma City Thunder, 0-4. But let's pay attention, 0-2 when Ja Morant does play. So what do you think about the way these two teams stack up against each other?
I like Memphis's chances here. I don't think this is going to be a runaway series. And again, I think a lot of these series are going to be close. It wouldn't surprise me if this went 6 or 7, even though OKC is heavily favored. I think once you get into the playoffs, we see what Ja is capable of doing. If they're healthy, defensively, they're solid enough to win a game or two. But I don't know if they can win 4 games against OKC, but I do think they can win 2.
I just think Jaren Jackson Jr. has to be careful and be smart in how he plays the game and not get baited into silly fouls or just take some silly fouls. He's so important. He's one of the X factors. I know you said Bane is an X factor, but I feel like he's an X factor because of his ability to stretch the floor, block shots, rebound, and just clog up the paint, which keeps Shea out of the paint, making him be a facilitator now instead of scoring. So if he's in foul trouble, you put more pressure on Zach Edey, the rookie, to really hold it down in the paint. And he's somewhat of a slow-footed, and they're going to put him in a lot of pick and rolls if that's the case.
I mean, his ball handling is elite, right? And then he's able to get downhill. And when he's able to get downhill, you know, he's a master at getting into the paint, setting people up, not only setting people up, but he gives you the shots that you have to make. He gives you the pass that you have to make, right? And again, you got to keep him off the boards because he's electric in the middle. He can get up and he can get the crowd going, and he's so good. Very few players can come in an arena and make your crowd cheer for you, right? He can steal your crowd because he's that good on the road. And Memphis plays with such intensity. They're never out of the game, even when they're down 15, 20 points, because they have the capability and the intensity to come back.
Yeah, the team they beat to get to the playoffs for the play-in, the Dallas Mavericks, a team that really, you know, post-Luka Doncic trade, they also had injuries to Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, all at the same time. Kyrie Irving out for the season with that torn ACL. So really just decimated by injuries. Let's hear from Jason Kidd on the Mavs season.
An incredible season. When you look at the injuries that we've had, the change for us to even be here playing in this game tonight, it's incredible. It just shows the character of that group in that locker room, the fight, being prepared, moving on, you know, learning from our losses and also our wins. So an incredible season. With the change and injuries, you know, some would say shouldn't even be here. So give those guys in that locker room a lot of credit.
All right, clearly a new era in Dallas post-Luka Doncic. So really, how does this team get the pieces back together and get right for next year as they wait for Kyrie Irving to come back?
Well, the key, they have to wait for Kyrie Irving to get back. And you know, he's scheduled to get back January, maybe February, but you know that could be a long wait the first half of the season. So they have some work to do, but Anthony Davis, if he's healthy, and they got a good enough crew, they can get to January and wait for Kyrie.
And to that point, Anthony Davis could have just shut it down, right? 40 points, the most he's had in a Mavs uniform in his final game, really did kind of set the tone like, okay, this is what I'm going to be able to do for this team.
Absolutely. And you do, with that being said, you have some promising young stars. I mean, I think Brandon Williams was very promising, can hold it down at that point guard position, because Anthony Davis, you want him healthy and you want him to play the important games. And if you can keep him from playing the big minutes, you keep him healthy. But one thing, he just got to get his body healthy and rested. Yeah. And I mean, he has other bigs with Gafford and Lively, so he has other guys so you can rotate him through. But you're going to expect a lot from him, particularly no Kyrie until January. So he can hold it down. You get Kyrie back. This team is very capable, and they have a lot of pieces and a lot of promising pieces. And you go out there and add some other. I thought Najee Marshall had a great year getting his opportunity to play more minutes and be solidify himself in his role. Yes, exactly. So I like what this team has. And it just, like I said, waiting for Kyrie, you have to have a healthy Anthony Davis for as long as possible.
Yeah, and, you know, a team that doesn't have an issue with shot creators in the guard position. How about the Miami Heat and Tyler Herro, what they were able to do advancing to the playoffs? More on that coming next on Playoff Central Live, presented by State Farm. Playing for the 8th seed in the East with some All-Stars, Trae Young and Tyler Herro. But don't forget about Bam Adebayo. Miami jumped out to a 10-0 lead in the first 2+ minutes. The Hawks, they had 12 steals and 18 points off turnovers.
Long, deep three.
From Trae Young. Andrew Wiggins like, oh, right back at you.
Okay, I got you.
3 of his 20.
He's back.
Tyler Herro, the consistent offense that Miami needs. Nice feed from slow-mo to Herro for three.
They had everything working in the first half.
How about the bench players? Haywood Highsmith, one of those guys.
He shot that one high.
39 bench points.
Karis LeVert, another bench player.
40 bench points for the Hawks.
Miami up 9 at the half. We move to the second half. Coming out party for Onyeka Okongwu. 28 and 12. Watch him run the floor and get rewarded with the score.
You can have a great year, but when you do it in big games like this is when you ascend in the basketball world.
How about the rookie ascending? 6 for 6 for Khalil Ware. 12 points, 8 rebounds. Herro again. He made 5 of these.
Give me that.
Wow. Miami up 12 at that point. George Nie.
Okay, I got one too.
Slanging for 20. And look at that score. 88-88. Trae Young. It's the Hawks' first lead of the game. Comes in the fourth quarter. Remember Okongwu? I told you about him. Part of a 25-9 Hawks run. But hold on. Miami responds with an 8-0 run of their own.
Tyler Herro being Tyler Herro.
Haywood Highsmith making it a 3-point game. But Trae Young, 10 points in the fourth quarter. And Zeke, this to tie it up.
I mean, downhill, lead in the backcourt. Nice layup at the end.
Andrew Wiggins with a chance to win it. No bueno. So we go to overtime. In the extra session, well, it was all Miami from there.
No, it was all Davion Mitchell. I mean, just making plays. Not only was he hitting big shots, but he was getting in the paint, creating those open opportunities for his teammates.
Trae Young making it a one-possession game here, but can I get a hot tub?
Absolutely.
Wow. Tyler Herro for 3. Davion Mitchell.
Swing. 3 of them things.
16 points, 9 of them coming in overtime. The Heat, the first 10 seed to ever advance from the play-in into the playoffs. They win 123-114. Trae Young had some interesting things to say following the season-ending loss.
We all look at the season differently. For me personally, not making the playoffs is a failure for me. No matter who's out there, you know what I'm saying? No matter how much adversity with injuries we've had to face, I still feel like we've had a good enough group to make the playoffs.
If you have big aspirations, you know, to compete for a title, you got to get an invitation first, you know, into the playoffs. So tonight, I just want our guys to enjoy this. We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot this year, and our guys really wanted this. And I want them to take a moment and reflect, you know, how far we've come in the last 3 months.
All right, before I let you go, did you pack?
Oh, yeah, we packed for 9 days, so we're ready to roll.
I mean, Tyler Herro, not just a scorer for the Miami Heat. We know he's an all-star this year for them, but 30 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, really filling up the box score all around, and a big reason why Miami has won 10 in the last 14 games.
I mean, since the Jimmy Butler trade, right, he's been the go-to guy. And they've said to him, you have to be the one who delivers. You have to be the one who scores. We're giving you the ball, clutch moments. And he stepped up and he's delivered, Vince.
And the one thing I said is with the scoring load, you can't have a big turnover number. He only had 3 turnovers. So I think he protected the ball. He was a leader. He made plays. He hit that obviously timely shots when you needed him to. Like Tyler Herro is now accepting that this is my team role.
Yeah, Davion Mitchell, a guy who had just a single point in the first half. We joked about what he did in OT with the 9 points, 15 of his 16 coming in the second half. And this is a guy that had all the confidence, Zeke, in a situation where he could be lacking that.
Absolutely. And he started on the defensive end, you know, and this is where he has really made his mark. But offensively, he had big buckets tonight. Not only did he have big baskets, getting into the lane, putting pressure on the defense, but knocking down, you know, arguably a game-winning 3, you know, to really seal the victory. But before that, he got an offensive rebound. Then he got a kick out, right? Trae Young lost him in the scrum, and he knocked down the 3. I mean, that was big time.
Yeah, and also taunting Trae a little bit with his own celebration and took a charge. Just a great game from Davion Mitchell. But also, we get to this point, it's like, oh, yeah, and Bam Adebayo, 17, 11, 5 assists, 5 blocks, and 2 steals, Vince. When you talk about a guy doing it all for his team, that was Bam Adebayo. Well,
we heard Spo say he's their emotional leader, and he also needed to do it on the floor, and he kept the boat rolling because anytime you're on a 10-game losing streak, everybody can fall off the reservation. Mm-hmm. They're thinking about 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Yes.
But at the same time, everybody stayed on board, obviously with their vocal and emotional leader playing, but they started to get other guys to buy in, other guys to start to play well. And not only were they the 10th seed, they won 2 big games on the road. Mm-hmm. Now going into the playoffs on the road, this is a good sign for them to give them a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance because who they're facing now, the top seed in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers, where they're going to have to play the first playoff game on the road on Sunday. Zeke, you actually like their chances in this matchup where they're a huge underdog.
Well, they're underdogs. Cleveland is the favorite, and I think Cleveland is going to win the series. But, however, I look at Miami, and I wouldn't be surprised if this series went 6 or 7 because they're playing really good basketball right now. And as Vince said, they won 2 games on the road. Not only have they won 2 games on the road, but they're pressure games where they had to concentrate, they had to play at playoff peak performance, and Cleveland is rested now. Yeah. So, a little rust may set in. So don't be surprised if Miami go in and steal game 1.
My only question is, does Miami have enough scoring to keep up with the way Cleveland is scoring? And their bench, Ty, Jerome, and now DeAndre Hunter, 2 guys that shoots the 3 well and defends. And, we know their big 4, if you would, has been playing well. So they're going to have to keep up offensively. Tyler Herro is going to do what he does. We've already talked about Bam. Andrew Wiggins is going to have to continue to score. And they're going to have to find other guys. I mean, you had 7 guys scoring double figures. They're going to need that kind of output to compete with Cleveland.
Yeah, and don't forget Max Strus, a guy that, he came over from Miami, now playing with Cleveland. I think that's an interesting wrinkle when we look at this series between these 2 teams. And Max Strus, obviously a Heat guy.
Yeah, and we'll see if Cleveland's role players can continue to shoot at a high clip in the playoffs. Yeah, we know Donovan Mitchell and he can do his thing,
Darius
right?
Garland and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen.
But can those role players have the same type of freedom and comfort to knock down threes the way they did in the regular season? Because, Vince, the playoffs are different.
It's different. The different light in every round, as you know, it gets harder and harder to be successful. And you rely on your bench, particularly at home. But like you said, they have the luxury of 3 shooters, though, in Ty Jerome, Strus, and DeAndre Hunter. So somebody's going to have to show up to the party.
All right, looking back at the Atlanta Hawks in the season that was, they finished with the 8th best record in the Eastern Conference, but the second straight year they're eliminated in the play-in. They had league leaders in assists and steals in Trae Young and Dyson Daniels, but Jalen Johnson really losing him for the season. Back in January, a colossal loss the way that he was playing. And DeAndre Hunter was in the running for 6th Man of the Year. Bogdanovich still playing for the Clippers.
Right now and with the Clippers as well.
Here's your playoff schedule for Saturday, the first day of the playoffs. Playoff Central Live tips off at noon here on NBA TV. You can catch action on ESPN and ABC throughout the day. First day of the NBA playoffs on Saturday, and we have some games to look forward to, but I know, Zeke, you're looking for that late afternoon, early evening in New York.
Detroit basketball. Come on.
We've been waiting a while, 5, 6 years for that, Zeke.
That's all right. We here now. So, some people going to.
Might as well go ahead and do it, huh?
Hey, we don't die, we multiply.
Somebody got to do it, huh?
Yes, sir.
What about you, Vince? What matchup are you looking forward to the first 2 days?
That Detroit Knicks and also the Pacers Bucks.
That's
that's been a battle And I think the Pacers has been a thorn in the Bucks side for so long. Dame Lillard potentially coming back. I think that Clippers Denver. It should be a very interesting. I mean, James Harden now coming back into his own. Kawhi playing like Kawhi.
Zubac, Joker, Jamal Murray.
It's a lot of things that, with like that, the coach, interim coaches for Denver as well as Memphis. Now we have to see how they fare in real situation, decision-making in such a short term. That I'm interested to see how that goes. And, of course, Lakers and with the...
Yeah, Kawhi, him in playoff form, healthy.
And some time off before playing.
You can literally make the argument that when he's healthy in the playoffs, he may be the best player right now playing in the playoffs because he's healthy.
Two-time finals MVP. There is still Nikola Jokic. So those would be the two in the same series. That we're going to have that discussion. Two guys to look at there.
Yeah.
Going to be to see it in the first round is just crazy the kind of year it is in the NBA.
The West is crazy over there.
All right, this has been Playoff Central Live, presented by State Farm. Thank you for hanging out with us, and hope you also enjoy the first day of the playoffs, the East and the West.